Hello.
Hello! So today, this is a long-awaited challenge that Joel has wanted to do for quite some time. We're going to play camera curling. That's right. So you can just about see here we have our three different zones. If you get it in the middle zone, you get 100 points. If you get it either side, you get 50 points. If you get it in the outside bits, not very good at pointing here, you get 1 point. Okay? So we're having 5 attempts each. Let's go! 3, 2, 1. Whoa. 4. 50 points! 50 points again! 101. 100 points! So you're on 201 points. Go. 50 points for you, Jolie. 251 points! So Joel is on 251 points. Now it's my go.
1 point. 2 points. 2 points. Come on, Rachel. You've got to get as many hundreds to catch up. Too far, and I had to stop it.
Round 4.
0. 1 point. 1 point.
Last chance to get some points. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And it's helpful to have that.
5 points, Rachel.
This is so hard.
And the people doing the speaking part.
So Rachel gets 5 points. So I win again.
I think Joel has
Amazing.
been practicing every single week at church, so I think I get special points.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye! Hello everyone and welcome back. We've had 2 weeks off and we are here again for some more youth videos. How exciting!
Very exciting.
So I am joined by the wonderful Alice Mashenga, everybody. Are you well, Alice?
I'm very, very well. Very excited to be here. Thank you for having me back.
Did you have a nice break?
Yeah, it's been lovely, really. Just been relaxing, as you do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, as always, I have a little icebreaker question to get us started. And I know, so we work in the office together, so I know that lunchtime and food is very important to you in your life.
Definitely.
So this question is food related. And it
Perfect.
says, if you could only eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Okay, I can answer this straight away, Rachel, because you know I am an expert on food. So I absolutely love spaghetti bolognese. But only the way my dad makes it, and he because when we lived in Zambia, you couldn't always get mincemeat.
Yeah.
So he used to buy just like steak or rump steak, and he used to cut it into tiny little pieces, and he cooks it using that way. So it's similar to mincemeat, but not the same, if you know what I mean. But he had a best friend that was Italian, and the Italian friend said that is the proper way to make spaghetti bolognese. So I'm going to claim that. So everyone try that and tell me it's probably going to be the best spaghetti bolognese you've ever tasted. So yeah.
Does sound good, to be fair. Like I don't know whether I'm cooking spaghetti bolognese wrong, but I just feel like mincemeat like gets quite
Chewy.
yeah. Maybe. I mean, I'm not the best cook. Joel's much better than I am, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, try that way, Rachel, and let me know.
I'll get him to cook it for me. That sounds like the best way, probably.
Definitely.
Okay, so we are starting a new series this week to go alongside what we're learning about in the Sunday morning services, and that series title is Known. And so we're going to follow along with the morning services and look at various unnamed characters in the Bible, and see how, despite them seeming relatively unimportant, the people that wrote the Bible don't even want to name these people, to Jesus and God, they are known and loved by him and still have very important roles to play in Jesus's story. So today we are kicking off with you've got to get this saying right, the Syrophoenician woman. It's taken me many attempts to learn how to say that.
Rachel.
So I thought we'd get started with doing a little Bible reading this week. So I don't know whether you're ready, Alice.
I am.
You have
I'm
a Bible
ready.
with you.
I
Okay.
do. I've got the English Standard Version, and she's not known as that really long word that I'm not going to try and pronounce, Rachel. In my Bible, thank goodness, she's known. So the title of the chapter is The Faith of a Canaanite Woman.
Much
That's
easier
easier
to
to say. So I'll start off. We're starting at verse 21. And Jesus went away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon." But he did not answer her a word. And his disciples came and begged him, saying, "Send her away, for she is crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." And he answered, "It's not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "O woman, great is your faith. Be it done for you as you desire." And her daughter was healed instantly.
You may be thinking, have I heard this correctly? Is what I just heard right? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus just called this woman a dog, and that's not the Jesus I know, insulting women and children and everyone. Jesus is a nice guy, so it doesn't seem right that Jesus is calling this woman a dog. Not gonna lie, this passage is a bit tricky, and it took me a few times to get my head around it, a few attempts of reading through and reading what other people had to say about it to figure it out. But let's just set the scene then, as we start to unpack this. So Jesus is in a place he's never been before, and he wants to lay low. He doesn't want anyone to know where he is. But as always, people find out where he is. And so this woman, a Gentile woman, so a non-Jew, like you and me, she comes up to him and begs him to cast this demon out of her daughter. And in Matthew's gospel, because you'll also find this story in Mark, he initially ignores her. And that's a bit weird in itself. Why would Jesus ignore someone that needs help? As we know, Jesus is always there to help us and heal people. So it just seems a bit strange. But as I just said, this woman is a Gentile, and his initial plan of action, I guess, as he says a little bit later on, is to come and save the Jews, or the lost sheep of Israel. So she, not being a Jew, isn't in a sense his top priority. But because she's then so persistent and keeps asking and follows them, the disciples think she's really annoying and not worthy of their time and attention. So they want to get rid of her. And this is when Jesus speaks to her and calls her a dog, it seems. So he says, "It isn't right to take food from the children and feed it to the dogs." Like, what is that? That's so horrible. So we've established it's just so mean.
Yeah.
But we've established she's a Gentile. And at this time, the Jews thought that Gentiles were unclean and impure and didn't want anything to do with them. And so dog was often a term that was used to describe the Gentiles by the Jews. So Jesus is using language here that everyone is
familiar with, and so everyone would understand what's going on. But he's actually, if you read like super into it, he's actually softens that word a little bit, so it's less harsh than just saying you're a dog. But that's a whole like theology degree down the line, so you don't need to know too much about that. But what he's basically saying is, why should I help a Gentile when I have the Jews to help? And she understands this, and so she starts to have a little bit of banter with him. She's not offended, and she completely understands his motive, and asks Jesus to deal with her at her own level then, by saying, even the dogs under the table get the scraps from the master's table. So she is saying here that it's fine if the Jews get the good stuff, but she has such a strong faith in Jesus that even the scraps would be good enough for her. She's persistent, and so her faith impresses Jesus, and that's when he heals her daughter. So in this moment, Jesus is showing the disciples, the ones that rejected this woman and thought she wasn't worthy of their time and attention, even she, an unworthy Gentile, is still worth something to Jesus, and that anyone that has faith can come to him. Well, whether we are Jew or Gentile, whether we live on a council estate or in a 5-bedroom mansion, whether we support Vale or Stoke, Jesus, to Jesus, it does not matter.
Yeah.
Jesus accepts us all. He doesn't care about our background. We are all welcome to know him, and we just need to come as we are, like the Gentile woman did. To Jesus, it's not what's on the outside that matters. It didn't matter to him that she was a Gentile. He saw her faith and what was in her heart, and that's all that matters.
So I think, regardless, like similar in the story, so regardless of our background, our faith, or perhaps our past, or where we are currently, God knows us. He knows things about us that we don't even know yet. And that might be hard to process, but he has planned our life to every detail, every inch, is planned out. And we've got to sort of trust that process. But he knows you. He knows, even as big as my hair is, he knows how many hairs are on my head. Now, we might put a little competition in, Rachel, here, and sort of guess how many hair strands. I don't know if you can do that, but yeah. Comment below,
you'd be
guys.
counting your hair.
I mean, we've got no definitive answer. We might have to pray to God for that. But, he knows every hair on our head, every part of us. He knew us, before we were even born. That's incredible. So God knows us. And I think sometimes, even if we've done things in the past that we're perhaps ashamed of or we feel guilty about, we should take all of that to God. He's forgiving, he understands, and he knows. Really, we were made to make mistakes, so it's not the end of the world if you've done something wrong. I think that's what we have to sort of put in front of us, because God will help us through whatever situation we're in. He's there through the good times, the bad times, and he knows. And I truly believe that God really only gives us things that we are capable of managing, or because sometimes when you're really struggling, or if you feel pressurized, it could be something at school or an exam or anything, or you may not have lots of friends and you might not be popular, but I really think God uses those times when we're really low to shape us and to make us stronger. And he knows we're going to go through these things, and he turns all those sort of bad things into good. So I think that's what it means to be known by God.
Yeah, we don't have to pretend to be someone else to come to God.
No.
That's like really important. Yeah. Just come as you are.
I think, first, obviously, it's shocking to read that Jesus is referring to someone as a dog. But like you say, I think all the different translations of the Bible, that is sort of a toned down version of what a Canaanite would be referred to anyway. So sort of what we can bring from that story is, even that woman had the faith, as tiny as it was. She was saying, look, I'll even have crumbs from the table that you're eating from. She didn't feel she was that worthy, but God thinks we're worthy, and we can have the whole banquet. We don't need to wait for the crumbs. But from that story, I think we just got to be brave and be bold and approach things with God behind us, you know, and that's what the woman did, although it wasn't sort of portrayed in that way. I mean, there's lots of stories in the Bible, isn't there, who are lots of, like the story of Paul. He's very brave, isn't he? He did all those bad things, you know, some things that were awful, killed people and all sorts. But look at the story that developed, that God had planned and set out for him. He was known by God. Perhaps God knew he was going to do all those bad things, but supported him into good. So I think that's what we have to sort of take from that story, that regardless of your background, regardless of what bad things you may have done or mistakes you've made, God is ready to wipe all that clean and we can start again. Even if it's wiped clean every day, you know, it's a starting point, you know, that's how it is. And I think that's what we should take from that story.
Thank you, Alice.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions about this, you still don't quite understand what's going on in this passage, then please chat to us on Tuesday. I won't be there, but Alice will be there. Tom will be there.
I'll be there, yeah.
And a few other people. So it would be great to chat through that with you. Yeah, it's been wonderful to see you, Alice. Great to have you on. We hope you guys have enjoyed this week's video, and we will see you again next week for another one. Otherwise, we will see you on Tuesday, Zoom, 7:30. Okay, see you then.
Thank you. Bye.